There are days when the worms emerge and slither into the raging waters in my head. Notes from a journal I could have kept, but failed to keep. At the core of the publisher-translator relationship, mentoring, seamless shifting of balance, a seesaw of possibility. Where will you be this summer, wind mother, when the temperatures rise like memory and the train tracks refuse, the haze diminishes the distance of not arriving nor getting there, where the mirror glints, there where the one doesn't greet the other, there where the haze diminishes, where the one doesn't meet the other, nor the distance of not arriving, nor getting there where the mirror glints, there where. To hell with it, I'll write you a letter and post it. Translation, not only, but also as an activity that decodes image, text, memory, causing something almost erstwhile, what may have been, what used to be, what no longer is, to come into being. Thought. So much remains still. So much remains in a state of almost born. We know this in the case of thoughts, or in my case, images. My constant battle between the analog and the instant nature of the digital, or what I call the phone chimera, that which excites even as it obliterates, leaving very little room for living, that stretched period of anxious time that creates suspense. I bring you back to my first encounter with the Stoppardian suspense, that startling opening of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. R&G, having lost their way into a limbo somewhere between Shakespeare and Beckett, are seen tossing coins. Guildenstern remarks, "There is an art to the building up of suspense," flips a coin, then continues, "though it can be done by luck alone." One of the two characters is aware that the coin is in fact two-headed. So there is no way the spinning can change the fate of the coin or of the character. And yet, what if? This existential suspense is our modern day condition, as in, despite the knowledge of the odds being stacked against us, there is a tiny window of hope. The photographic suspense I speak of is somewhat in the nature of a moment paused, an act of almost revealed, not by accident, but by design and purpose, perhaps even with some degree of motivation, as in the case of Pinter's plays. The Pinteresque pause anticipates, in that moment of imposed suspense, a limbo that is full of everyday menace at one level and a vast melancholic helplessness at another. But we know that the pause will create an active or passive moment of decision, choice for the character, one which implies the desire to act or to not do anything, either because all has been numbed or because every act implies a risk-taking. You don't want to take a risk. You let time step in, perhaps in the guise of circumstance, and choose for you. This choosing to not choose builds suspense. My constant battle between the analog and the instant nature of the digital, the phone chimera, that which excites even as it obliterates. Translation? This phone chimera, the phone camera or digital camera, is the modern day instrument of what I call obliterates. The chimera offered by the digital while creating images, is prone to a disappearance that is comparable to a censoring of the images, to deleting the ones that, in my opinion, do not work for me, thereby stilling it for as long as the film lasts. The life term allotted to the invention called film negative. This mode of image making doesn't allow you to tamper with that which is captured. Again, the digital offers an instant replay of every moment during the process of image making itself, while the film camera creates suspense. You wait for the film to be processed into its negative state and then the print to be made. It is at this stage that a photographer realizes whether the image is a rendering of what was attempted while taking the photograph or not. Of course, here the act of deleting takes place differently. You choose not to print the image. It remains in its negative state. Another kind of suspense, for one day you may return to it and decide to give it life in the form of a print. Here's what my friend and translator Tess Lewis writes. Like photography, translation entails a moment of suspense, both in the sense of anticipation and suspension, in the journey of an idea, a whole, a vision between two media, and more importantly, the transfiguration from the metaphysical to the physical. The hot afternoon in literature across cultures often finds itself described as one that is full of the noise we equate with extreme silence. Each one of these heated noon silences have at least a fly or a bee buzzing. It struck me that this need urge to add sound in the form of a universal buzz is an attempt at warding off evil or falling prey to a superstition that this complete vacuum, what one may call the absence of sound, might become a permanent. And yet, there is a temptation to explore this newfound deafness. Seek words that lie hidden within this absent absence without the distraction of those that we utter repeat every day. Interestingly, the night in literature has no bees or flies. What it has is a dark. The sheer mass of this dark can be overwhelming, like a weight upon one's chest, or it can be a space where the eye toes become nimble and we learn to see our way where the temporary blindness that engulfs us, unseeing seeing that allows the birth of words. First through hearing, and then through the use of a rapidly blinking pair of eyes. Choose your particular dark. Months after I write this, I find our friend and author Pascal Quignard had said it with much more force and imagery than I could. I quote, "One must know how to respond vacuously in the void. This gives rise to books. One must know how to get lost in the void. This is the light in which we read them. One must respond to others only by creating. One must drop all other forms of replies." General Karl von Clausewitz wrote to Mainz, "Never structure oneself like the adversary. Never submit oneself to an incurable hostility and to the feeling of helplessness that causes you to pay attention to the hostility." Creating means assailing a battlefront without a rival where there is no community. Creating is the only good piece of ground in the world. For this ground that suddenly surges forth in the eyes of one who creates does not exist before it is created. The space where the book is created cannot be found in reality. It is unimaginable within symbolism. It is empty. This occasion cannot be anticipated by those who are envious of the happiness that they do not possess, by those who are thirsty for the blood of others, by those who unremittingly seek to devour the prey that they see escaping from them. For they do not invent their space and do not find the blood that they love in it, unquote. One comes back to the words always. You do want to say the right thing, don't you? On behalf of all of us at Seagull Books, our authors who take a chance on us, our translators who trust us, our friends in publishing who champion us, and our colleagues in foreign rights departments in so many places across the globe, I would like to thank you for this award and for recognizing how vital books are, how vital stories are, and how essential it is that words remain without borders for all time and all people. Thank you.